Mayor. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Rachel. How you doing tonight?
I am doing well. I am doing well. It's always great to be back again with another live show with great guests in the background. We have a
Yeah,
very interesting lineup tonight, so I'm excited about that.
I am too. I know I got to meet Billy I guess probably about a year ago, and very exciting guy. I'm excited to have him on. And then Hal is he's been around town a long time, so we're going to talk about some things that for the last. I guess I call it 20 years and 20 minutes. 20 years and 20 minutes is kind of what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. And I will say for the lineup, as far as if you were able to see the countdown video that we had, of course, celebrating
Right.
Black history, but also we highlighted in that countdown, there were some key people in that countdown. We highlighted our Black-owned businesses here, local in the area, and also some of our Launch Rolesville graduates who are also business owners here in the area. We thought that, of course, that would be fitting considering our first guest, Billy, is actually a graduate of the Launch Roseville program. And so I'm excited for him to come on and tell you a little bit about that. And Mayor, I mean, we can go ahead and, keep the show rolling. I can go ahead and pull Billy in and we can get started.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm excited to get started with Billy. So pull him in there. There he is. Hey, Billy.
Hello, Mayor Ronnie. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you could join us, and appreciate you taking a little time to come on the show. I was talking to Rachel a little bit in the intro that I've probably been knowing you about 12 months now, somewhere along in there, and just really enjoyed to get to know you a little bit, Billy. But for the people listening tonight, we're going to have fun. I'll tell you that to start with. But for people listening tonight, just tell us a little bit about the Billy story. I know we've talked several times, and every time I talk to you, it's a very amazing story you have to tell, Billy. So maybe just a little bio or intro for the folks that's listening and don't know you and hadn't got to meet you yet. A little bit about the Billy story.
Well, my name is Billy Singleton, and I got a wife, been married for 28 years. I got a son, Deontay, which is 25, a daughter, 19, and I'm a country boy born and raised in Florida. I did military time. After that, I worked for the state correction. After that, I went to the Fed, and that's where I ended up moving to the sweet state of North Carolina. So definitely excited to be on tonight, and I thank you guys, and definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, and I know, Billy. I really enjoy listening to your stories sometimes about your businesses and what you got going on. And I know you was in the Launch Rolesville countdown, and I got to know you a little bit during that time. Just tell me about for the folks that don't know, what is Launch Rolesville, and what was your experience with Launch Rolesville?
Wow. Launch Rolesville was exciting. I mean, the instructor, we had Katie, we had Latanya. And I tell you, when I walked up in there, I'm like, okay, I got a business, and by the time I got through with them, they had me second thinking like, okay, do you got a business or do you got a hobby? And then they're like, okay, what make your business? What is your competition? So they really make you think. And the networking is awesome and great. And I tell you, I learned so much out of that class. And the people that I met, it motivates you to knowing that you're not alone. You trying to push for greater things. So the class was excellent. I recommend anybody who have the opportunity, please go to that class.
So it kind of helps you from all perspectives, I think, Billy, from marketing or getting your message out, all those things, does it not?
Oh yes, it definitely make you think though, because you may think, oh, I got this idea, but the work that go for, you got to put in the work and you got to be persistent. And I think every day, when you talk about what is your avatar, which group of people are you trying to reach? Are you trying to reach the young people, the old people, mid-age folk? What group are you targeting? And I tell you, it just opened my eyes to some great things. I had to go back 2 or 3 times and critique this and change this. But I tell you, that class has definitely helped me.
Yeah, I think one thing Rachel works very hard at, and I think as a town, we want to embrace our I guess small business we'll call our home businesses, folks that lives in town. As you say, a business is not a hobby. It can start as a hobby, but if you want to really create something, you got to really put your business hat on. I think is kind of what you're saying there. But we try to brace our small businesses and all. And I know being part of Launch Rolesville, I went to a meeting or two and also the graduation. You get to meet some other really interesting and exciting people that's going to have really, really nice businesses in town at some point, don't you think?
Oh, yes, sir. I met from the Smith with the Smith barbecue and and the guys that worked out and the clinic. I mean, the class was phenomenal. And I tell anybody, if you're not sure what you want to do, go to that class and I guarantee you will enlighten you.
I got you. I think I was talking to you, a few days ago, and you don't have one business; you have several businesses. Is that correct, Billy?
Yes, sir. I got a couple of real estate. One of them is I call Freedom from Debt, and then the other one I said I named it after my kids. I said Shante and DJ Legacy because once I became debt free, my goal was okay. What change are you going to make? Debt free is great, but debt free is great for me and my wife. But legacy is something when I'm not around, it's still going on. And so definitely leave something for my children.
How did you get? I know your company do training and you get people really thinking about this debt free mentality. Really, so it's a way of life, I believe. Probably. How did you get involved in that? And what would you say to a young person that has the opportunity to get involved in being, the thinking of being debt free?
Well, first of all, to become debt free, you definitely want to be around people that know a little bit more than you. If you find somebody that's doing something that you want to do on a high level that's positive, go into that group. And a lot of times they may not look like you, they may not sound like you, but get involved. And I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Austin, Commissioner, matter of fact. And he asked me about, hey, a guy named Dave Ramsey. And I said, yeah. Then I thought about it. I said, well, not exactly. So I started listening to the podcast. And all of a sudden, I got so caught up that I went through the baby step. Within 2 years, I paid off more than $300,000. And was it easy? No, but it definitely was worth it. So you have to stay focused, and you got to be so focused that you don't worry about what the Joneses are doing. Because if you look at Facebook a lot of times, when you see the best pictures, most likely they'll take about 5 or 7 photos and they put the best one up there for show. So stay focused what you're trying to do, and anyone can accomplish this.
Right. I hear from some broadcasts, you mentioned Dave Ramsey and it's several of them. Talk about a lot of freedom that comes with debt free. What, other than being out of debt, what is the benefits of being debt free, Billy?
Well, just say if I want to go to Florida, I don't have to second guess because while I have money, that means I have options. And where somebody else may have a tragedy, like let's use the pandemic, for example. It was an '08 pandemic. It was a pandemic coronavirus. And some people, this was a tragedy. Yes, people lost their jobs. But for as finance wise, some people didn't have enough money in their emergency fund to stay afloat for 3 months. And having money just give you options. How can you help the poor? Steve Harvey said the best thing you can do for the poor is not be one of them. If I want to help the poor, I need to be out of that situation to be able to lend a helping hand.
Right, and that's a really good point. I think you was kind of talking about maybe going to Florida or somewhere actually have money to spend, but a lot of people and I think our society teaches this a little bit, especially the advertisements you see on TV and all that kind of stuff. This idea about credit cards and debit and stuff like that. It's a big difference in being able to spend money using credit cards and to actually be the mentality of debt free, is it not, Billy?
Yes, sir. Using credit cards, I'm not as bad as I used to be. At first, cut all the credit cards up because there's some people that's millionaire. They use credit cards, but they don't use that as a wealth builder because if you take their assets minus their liability, they still a millionaire. But if you got several credit cards, you got a couple car notes, you got a house so big that your house poor, you can't be able to do anything, then the last thing you need to be doing is having credit card because you don't have control of credit card. Credit card has control of you. So I would tell anybody if you want to become debt free, the first thing you need to do is get a hold of your credit and pause the credit card. You can either cut them up or you can mess around and just put them to the side. But you want to be focused because credit score only tell you how good, how fair, how excellent you are at borrowing other people's money. And I had a credit score of 750 before I made up my mind. I'm tired and I'm sick and tired of borrowing. I want to be the lender. And so what I decided to do, I said, you know what? I cut up every credit card that I had. But once I got to the point of not worrying about my credit card, because having a 750 credit score was great, but I didn't have $7,000 in my bank account. So I tell anybody now, I'm more happy now what I got in my bank account than a credit score.
That makes a lot of sense, Billy. But a lot of people don't really grasp that because I don't know if you listen to TV and commercials and all the debit commercials and credit card commercials, you won't pick that up easily.
Yep.
So and I know we got several people listening tonight. So if anybody got any questions for Billy, just be sure to ask us. I think Billy has a lot of good stuff to share. So if you got any questions, we're going to try to entertain some of those tonight too. But Billy, you hear sometimes, and not as much recently as you did, years back and all, talk about this American dream. What is the American dream to you, and do you feel like being debt free helped you live the American dream?
Well, American dream is alive and well. Being a country boy, I used to come from Florida to North Carolina. I used to dig sweet potato, crop tobacco, pick cucumbers. And so when it was time for me to go in the military, I said, cannot be harder than this. And the problem is a lot of people want to get rich quick. They don't want to work. And I tell anybody, work for what you want. God has given us all the ability to make things happen. And once we start working, you can see the American dream. I tell people, try for 90 days. This plan that I have, within 36 months, you can be debt free other than your house payment. If you don't like it in 90 days, go back to living from paycheck to paycheck. But America's dream is still here. It's alive and well.
And you live in it, I take it.
Yes, sir. And it feels good.
It feels good to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
So Billy, I know you got a lot of you got 3 businesses that you're starting and also, teaching others to be debt free and stuff. If you looked ahead 10 years, what is your goals? What do you expect to be 10 years from now?
Well, I thought about the goals. And I listened to a guy named John C. Maxwell. And he talked about goals. He said, once you reach your goal, a lot of time what people do, they'll stop. And so now instead of having goals, I want to have growth. Meaning once I hit that particular goal, I'm not done. I'm still growing. And as long as you're alive, you can continue to grow. So multi-millionaire status, I believe in it. I mean, it's so easy to save money, but you have to be focused. You can't worry about what's going on Facebook, on TV. I mean, I'm a sports fanatic, but do not consume so much time on the TV watching millionaires become richer playing football. Some people watch sports on Sunday and Saturday all day long. What are you putting inside your ear? What are you putting inside your mind? And what are you doing? After you're 9 to 5, what are you doing? Find a problem. And I guarantee you somebody will pay you for something that you love to do.
That's a good point there, Billy. I think a question came in from an audience there that was asking. It went down, but I believe if I recall, it says, what's a key? What's your keys to being debt free or becoming debt free?
One of my keys to becoming debt free is, first of all, have a budget. Make a budget. Tell your money where to go. I download an app from Dave Ramsey. I mean, they got several apps on the website, but this particular app here, I tell my money where to go before I ever get paid, and I zero it out. So at the end, I won't worry about, well, what happened. Sometimes when you're trying to get out of debt, it may be a little inconvenience going inside the gas station to pay cash, but you're only doing it temporary. You're only pausing some of the stuff. You may not eat out as much, but you're only pausing. You're not stopping completely. And once you get to where you want to go, then you can continue on. But you want to get a hold of debt and become the lender instead of the borrower.
Right. We got another question. It says, what advice do you have for new business owners? You know, most time people go in debt to start a business, and you may have to do that. But you know, what advice you have for those, if any?
Well, for me, for example, when I did the business, my goal was, if a pandemic happened and the landlord or the tenant cannot pay, will I struggle? And the answer is no. So once you're free, it's a lot of stuff that you can do, you know, but you got to first of all get a hold of debt. You got to have control of it. Once you shift your mindset, how you think about money, uh, I don't see nothing wrong with having real estate, you know, but you don't want to have 5 credit card, 2 car note, you know, and you're in debt and you're struggling. And then all of a sudden, well, I want to do OPM. I want to use other people's money. Why would you use other people's money when you can't control the little small stuff that you're doing with the 2 car notes? And a lot of people want to be defined by what they drive and where they live, instead of being focused and say, you know what, I know where I'm going. Let me stay focused. If I stay focused, you're going to reap. The benefit is great, but you got to stay focused.
Right. I think you mentioned Dan T kind of introduced you to it a little bit. And I know you really, you actually teach, I think, right? You teach this to
Well,
others.
well, Mr. Dan, he actually teaches. I just one of his helpers. I mean, I have gleaned from Mr. Dan for probably the last 3 or 4 years since I've known him. And one thing I used to tell him, I said, man, I'm older than you, but one thing I realized, find people that's smarter than you, that doing some stuff that's greater than you, and glean from them. But as time go on now, you know, I'm gonna have to find me somebody a little bit higher, because my goals, it may surpass Mr. Dan. I know he probably listened to this, but I'm doing great things. And I believe uh, Les Brown said, when you shoot for the moon, if you fall short, you land among the stars. So I'm shooting high.
You're shooting high. You're gonna
Yes, sir.
put Dan in your dust, huh?
Well, he may have to hold on to my coattail after a while, but right now I'm holding on to his.
I got you. I got you. The folks that that you actually consult with and talk to, and you see them coming along, you see them you know getting the message. How does that make you feel, knowing you helping others in this cause?
It makes me feel great. I think my only problem is sometimes I want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And sometimes it make you a little discouraged. And I'm like, no, don't be discouraged. Just stay focused on what you're trying to do. If they really want it, they may pay $30 for this book. See, because people pay for what they want to do. But when it come down to seminars, when it come down to education and trying to better yourself, no, that's too much money. You know, no, I'm not, I can't afford to do this. But you can afford to go to a basketball game, a football game, a soccer game, tennis match. So we find time to do whatever we want to do, but let's find time to further our education, our mind, and let's shoot high.
Where's if you're talking to a young person, and I'm sure that probably the younger you are, the more time you have to get it right and to work the plan. But are you, what age is too young? What do you recommend? Starting anytime, or is it a certain? Is a high school student too early to start thinking about this?
Oh, high school. I think you need to start way before that. If you got a daughter's 5 or 6 year old, teach her about saving. teach her about investing. And as far as the teenager goes, you know, sometimes I can go to a Rolesville High School game. I look at the gym floor and I see the guys walking with $300 pair of shoes. And sometimes I go to the mall, I see the young lady wearing $250 hairdos. My thing is, why should you have more money on your feet and on your head than you have in your purse or wallet? So definitely the high school definitely need to get it, but we need to start way earlier than that because the young people are the future. If they think, you know, we $1 trillion in debt now, you haven't seen nothing yet. And for us, you know, I want to shoot this in. And for a student loan, should it be free? Should My thing is the only way I agree it should be free is you need to stop what the problem is. The, don't mess around and cancel a student loan, but then you're gonna still issue out student loan. That part doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, we need to find out what there's so many scholarships out there. There's so many Chick-fil-A, $1,000 here, BMW, $500 here. They're all kind of scholarship, but a lot of people want that big scholarship instead of going at the little one. So I think the sky is the limit. I think people can go. Actually, I believe they can go to school debt free. My advice: if you don't get a full ride, probably start off as a junior college, because by then they're gonna know, like, okay, they probably gonna change the major 2 or 3 times. But if you go to junior college, take the little math, the little English, and all the little minor stuff. The sky's the limit, you know.
Right. Just a couple last questions, Billy. Is it ever too late?
Well, if you got breath in your body, you have opportunity. And so I'm going to say, no, it's never too late, you know.
Even folks that, you know, $100,000 in debt, credit cards, and all kinds of stuff, it's not too late for them too.
It is not too late. If I could pay off over 300,000 within 2 years, now, you know, that person that listened to this probably said, wait a minute, what kind of money did you make? No, it's not the money that I made. I sold rental property. I sold motorcycle. I sold clothes that was sitting up for about 2 years, washed and dry, that I wasn't using. I decided to do Lyft and Uber. Sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. And a lot of people don't want to make the sacrifice. They want to be like the Jones. So if I drive a Mercedes, people assume that I got it going on. But I drove a car that had cardboard in the window and no AC, but I was focused. I didn't care what people thought about because I knew where I was going.
So even it sounds like even people in debt, if they get focused, like you saying, like you did, sound like you did, then it's never too late. People listening tonight, it's never too late. You can do it.
It's never too late. Just try for 90 days. If you do not like seeing a raise in your income, go back to living from paycheck to paycheck. But you can, what is Zig Ziglar said, doing the same thing over and over again, expect a different result. Is a definition of insanity. You have to do something different. If you want to be positive and you want to do something on a high level, you can't do what you did in 2021.
Exactly. Well, I see you back, Rachel.
I am back. Billy, it's always great to hear some of the advice that you have.
He has a good message, don't he?
He does. He has an awesome message. It definitely rings now true as people are trying to make adjustments to their personal lives, because now we know that. And I will say there's a difference in the generation. When you look at the difference over the generations, you know, the baby boomers, and of course, our Generation Z now, you know, when you look at those two, there's a vast difference between what's important and what's not important. And one of the key qualities that we point out in Generation Z is that what's important to them is quality of life. So for them, they're not looking necessarily to have, you know, the things that some people thought were important, which were having the big expensive cars. You know, they would rather get them a tree house and go hiking and, you know, go fishing and things like that, and work remotely and not really care about, you know, whether they have the $300 pair of shoes. So it's a different generation now. It's a different kid now, as we like to say, different thought process. And so you do see more in Generation Z actually saving, which is allowing them to purchase homes. And there's a whole study on it. So definitely some great info there. I'm definitely proud of you because you are a graduate of Launch Rolesville, which is a great program for anyone who is interested in doing some free training. As we like to say, it doesn't cost you anything as a business owner to participate in this program. Everything that's provided is sponsored by, the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce, the town of Rolesville, the Rotary Club of Rolesville, all of that, and a couple of other businesses that actually sponsor that program so that our businesses can attend free. So thank you so much, Billy.
You're more than welcome, Miss Rachel and Mr. Ronnie. I definitely appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Billy. Enjoyed having you on, and great message. Just keep pushing it, keep talking about it, sharing it. Great work there. You're good access to town. Appreciate all that.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much, sir.
You
guys
take care, Billy.
Time. Thanks. Well, that was exciting, wasn't it, Rachel?
Well, I tell you, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm backstage, and I'm like, wait a minute, how much debt did he pay off, and what time frame did he pay it off? And we do have a comment. Joseph, I'm not sure. Thank you so much for joining us online and viewing us online. Can you name the program? Now, I'm not sure, Joseph, if you're talking about the program itself that he has as far as the debt-free program, or the actual community program that he participated in, which is called LaunchROLESVILLE. It is a program that is sponsored by quite a few organizations that will, one, give free training and education for entrepreneur businesses. It doesn't matter what stage you are. And I'll show that this is the website for it. It is LaunchROLESVILLE.com. And you'll see on the screen, it provides a couple of things. We do everything from business training to micro loans to networking. We have investors and things like that. We do a pitch night, which is for people that don't necessarily get that. It is like Shark Tank. It's kind of what we do for the programs too. So if you come to us with a business and you are looking for investors, this is definitely a program for you. So Joseph, that is called LaunchROLESVILLE.com. And then also, if you're looking for Billy Singleton, he is Debt Free Dom. So he's here local in Rolesville too. So Mayor, kind of keep things rolling. Our next person that we have backstage waiting to join you, of course, is Hal. And as you said, we're about to cram, oh my gracious, over 20 plus years from Hal into our little, 10-minute segment. We're going to get as much as we can out of him in that 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Hal in. Joseph, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in online also. I'm going to go ahead and bring Hal in. Hey, Hal, how are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm doing well. Mayor Currin, good to see you again.
Yeah, welcome, Hal. I've been waiting all week to get you. I always enjoy talking to you, Hal, and I've been waiting all week to get you on the show. I know you. I'll start off by kind of introducing you a company that you have, which is real estate marketing and consulting. I think you and your better part, Gail, started this many years ago, and I would imagine, like in most partnerships like that, she's probably the best half and the smartest half and the one that does the most work and all. But you guys have been really hard at it, especially here in Rolesville, and we're going to show some of the things that has taken place in the last 20 years, and it's just so exciting to have you on tonight, Hal. Give us a brief introduction to you and Gail and your company.
Well, I appreciate you saying the kind things, and Ronnie, you're absolutely right about everything you said. And I'm blessed to have a good wife and a good partner at the same time. I was very familiar with Rolesville because I grew up about 30 miles actually southeast of Rolesville in the metropolitan area of Bailey, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I think we were about 250 people when I was growing up, and Bailey's still about 250 people. But Rolesville was the same size, and I played basketball and baseball at Rolesville Elementary now, but it was Rolesville High School then. And I just felt a kindred spirit about Rolesville. And Gail and I got married, shifting gears just a little bit. Gail and I got married in 1988 on Valentine's Day. So we've got an anniversary coming up here soon. And shortly after we got married, we moved to Raleigh, and good friend of mine, Fred Smith, wanted us to come up and get involved in real estate with him. And we did, and kind of figured it out together. And our first development was Headingham. Of course, he was the primary mover in Headingham, but we were involved in all the sales and marketing, and our relationship grew from that. And then as our companies grew, Gail and I formed our own real estate companies, and we had one of the greatest gentlemen you'll ever meet join us to work with us, and you know him very well, and that was Jackie Wilson. And I'm proud to say that Jackie has been with us, and we've been with him now 20 years. And wasn't long after he joined us, he started talking about where he lived, which was Rolesville, and said, "Do you know anything about Rolesville?" I told him about our childhood, or my childhood, et cetera. And he said, "There's a lot of good things happening in Rolesville." He said, "I really think we need to take a look at Rolesville and see if we can do some real estate business there." And he brought a deal to us that he had been looking at from the Wilson brothers, who actually owned what land, their land was. They had some trailer homes or mobile homes there, and we're looking to maybe expand that. But instead, we met with them and worked out a deal to buy their land, and that was originally to be Willowcrest, which was the first part of our development. So that was our segue into Rolesville.
That was back in 2001, something like that.
That was in 2003, 19 years ago, going on 20 years ago, and that's where we got started. And fortunately, we had other opportunities once we started that, and got our approvals from the town, and you may remember that as well. We were able to add a lot more land to that from Norwood Hector, who owned land that was bordered, most of it, between Young Street and Rogers Road. That was good land, but none of it was connected. So we had to devise a plan, which at that time they were called plan unit developments or mixed use plans, and went before the town of Rolesville. And you were a town commissioner even way back then, Ronnie, and made a presentation to them. And I've got to say, and I've always maintained this, I felt so good about the town council members, the mayor. It was Mayor Kelly at that time. Mayor Eagles was just town commissioner at that time, and just good people who were genuinely interested in how can we improve Rolesville and have more to offer Rolesville, but in a controlled way, and that would be good for everybody. So we presented a plan that included what at that time was affordable housing, as well as a multitude of other type housing and retail and commercial. And our long-term goal was to be able to add even senior housing and workforce housing. And now, almost 20 years later, I'm proud to say we were able, with a lot of help from the town, a lot of help from our teammates and those who support us. Wasn't easy, but we have fulfilled that goal, and pleased to say so.
Yeah, and back then town was very small. I mean, in 2002, I was trying to think back, maybe 1,200 people total. I think the village of Rolesville was just getting off the ground.
That was just getting started.
Just getting started. I think actually Granite Falls started before them, but not many years before. But very small, very much located in a very strategic part of town. And I believe with that project came a couple great road improvements with the lining of Rogers Road, as you see it today, and Granite Falls Boulevard. I think added a tremendous amount of connectivity there.
Well, you're absolutely right, Mayor. One of the first things we did, after we bought the land, there had been discussion about locating an elementary school in Rolesville, but they couldn't find the land with the proper acreage and connection. Was to go and met with Wake County Public Schools and worked out an arrangement with them that they were to build Sanford Creek Elementary School. But the first thing we had to do was build Granite Falls Boulevard to connect West Young Street to Rogers Road. And that became an extremely valuable corridor for growth for all of Rolesville. At that time, there was no connector, and that land was not open at all. And Sanford Creek Elementary was built. I think they started about 2005 and finished it somewhere in 2006 or so. We completed that road about the same time. We changed the name from Willowcrest to Granite Crest with the approval of the homeowners, because we encountered enough rock. I never wanted to forget how expensive rock was to develop and build on. So we created the names and developed Granite Crest, Granite Falls, and then off of Rogers Road, Granite Ridge, and then the senior housing apartments are the Grand at Granite Falls, and then the workforce housing apartments are Granite Falls Apartments. And all that was made possible by building a very expensive Granite Falls Boulevard. And when we completed that, State Employees Credit Union took one of the sites, and it opened up a lot for us and for the town of Rolesville.
That's great. That's great, Hal. And you mentioned Granite Falls. I don't know if you came up with that name or not, but there is a very nice little falls, actual rock granite falls, on some undeveloped property right off of Granite Falls Boulevard. I'm not sure if you ever seen that or not.
I've seen it. and it's very, very, very attractive, but that had nothing to do with the name. Granite was a good name because it reminded me of rock and what we had to do with, and as the Bible says, on solid rock I stand. Well, on Rolesville is built on solid rock, not just Granite Falls. But that's a great thing. But it's been a wonderful experience for us, not without a lot of trials and tribulation as well. But we made a big investment in Rolesville, our team and our partners. But Rolesville also made a big investment in us by showing us their trust, their commitment. And what we have today was truly a team effort. One of the centerpieces, or the centerpiece, is Granite Falls Swim and Athletic Club, which when we first envisioned that, well, that was going to be, nice pool and a few other things as an amenity primarily for the residents there. But as we began to expand and grow, we envisioned something more attractive and larger, and we constructed Granite Falls Swim and Athletic Club, which is over 60,000 square feet of pools, indoor pools, athletic facilities, and it's been very, very beneficial for the community and for the growth of Rolesville. Most people don't realize that Granite Falls Swim and Athletic Club is the largest employer in Rolesville. We have over 50 employees year round, but from May through September, we employ over 150 people. So we bring hopefully some pleasure and fun to the community, but also we employ a lot of people.
Yeah. I think one interesting story about Granite Falls Swim Club, which is a very nice amenity. I think a lot of people really enjoy that, and it was something that town didn't have, and really it really serves a great purpose. But somewhere along in there, we had that dreaded 2008 recession while you had your project going on, didn't you?
From at the end in 2008 and right on through almost 2012, we had what we all refer to as the Great Recession. And it really was. It was a difficult time for everyone, for all families. And it was a difficult time to own a lot of real estate, be trying to develop real estate. And we were blessed that we were able to work through that, maintain our properties, and maintain the values in our neighborhoods. And again, we were very much blessed. The Lord has blessed us, and we appreciate his gift to us, and we've tried to give back to the community. But Ronnie, Mayor, you're right on it. Those were tough times. But we have to say, nothing ever stays the same, and we started making an upturn, and everybody in our general area are really riding a very, very big wave of real estate, high values, good time to sell a home, but it's a tough time to buy one because they're becoming more and more expensive. So when we talk about affordability, it's really difficult now to have what you and I would refer to as be able to build and find affordable homes.
Right. I think, I think thinking back, we've had a lot of developments, in town, a lot of, pretty good size ones. Some maybe have even more housing units than, Granite Falls total. But, the planned urban development plan we had to, get and Rachel's putting it up there, really had so many different elements to it. You mentioned a school, you mentioned a private swim club, there's businesses in there, there's a bank in there, but there's also places like a retirement facility, a workforce apartments that, for some more affordable housing, as you spoke of earlier, with the workforce apartment things, townhouses, homes of different price points. You could go on and on. And as Rachel, has placed up the picture there, I think most people, just driving through may not just realize how big it is and what 20 years of work looked like.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Ronnie, because it is hard to, if you don't, you can now really see it and appreciate it when you look at the site plan. But if you're just driving Granite Falls Boulevard, or you're on Rogers Road or West Young Street going by, you don't realize what all is in there. And in addition to what we developed, it's created other opportunities such as Willoughby, which H.H. Hunt is developing, and they've become partners involved in some of this, and they've done a good job, as well as with Granite Falls Boulevard at the west end, southwest end of Granite Falls Boulevard is Thales High School in town. And of course, we all are proud of Rolesville High School, our public high school, but Thales made a commitment, and they have been there now for, I think they actually started their elementary school maybe about 10 years ago, but they have their high school there now, and that's been a high school for about 3 years. And I'm proud to say that my granddaughter is graduating from Thales High School this coming June. So that was a big addition. You also, if you look at this map off of Granite Falls Boulevard to the east, right across from the Swim and Athletic Club, we paved a portion of the lot for parking and access to Rolesville Town Park. You can see that color there. So you can actually walk from the Granite Falls Boulevard right on through the park area, up through where the gazebo is, and get back to, of course, Main Street. The post office is located now. When we built the connector of Granite Falls Boulevard, and it's built as a wide road with multiple lanes in it, you understand all of that, we connected access for people living over from the eastern side to the western side of Rolesville for the connector. Granite Falls Boulevard, as you're very well aware of, will ultimately connect to Burlington Mills Road. So that is a strong growth corridor for Rolesville, because the Heritage is only 2.5 miles from where we're located there. So as Wake Forest has grown, Rolesville's grown, but now Rolesville's not just a small community anymore. Rolesville's growing, and we're competing for the same industry that Wake Forest is and other neighborhoods are. And I think Rolesville has a lot to offer. I think we have a great community that we can all be proud of, a very inclusive community, and that's important, and a comfortable place to grow up, to live, and like Billy just talked about, to start a business. And we're proud of Rolesville and just excited to be part of it.
You've been a great partner, and it's not over with yet, is it? I know for one thing, I've seen some of the building materials already. We got a volleyball center coming in. Is that, I believe it's a volleyball center.
Absolutely, and thank you for reminding me of that. And I saw a message pop up as off of West Young Street. If you enter on Granite Falls Boulevard, to the left is a volleyball center. We have a dialysis clinic that's located there over 10 years ago, and this volleyball center is going to be extremely nice. So there's a lot going on in that area as well. Back to your point about the rest of our development, if Rachel could put back the diagram or map one more time, I would just point out at the very top, the very north top, you'll see it'll be hard for most everybody. We developed 6 custom home lots that was in Pluton Place in the Heritage. But now at the very top up there, we're developing a total of 44 more lots, which will be the last lots that are planned at all for Granite Falls, Granite Crest. And we've already broken ground and are grading in the first phase of that. And we should have homes, hopefully, that we can start construction on about maybe about 30 of those lots later this year. And then next year, we'll be bringing on going through the approval process with the town now, about 15 more. We'll ultimately wind up with 44 lots over the next 3 years, and that'll be it for all that we have planned.
Yeah, I think it's still in. I believe some of the lots have been purchased by others. That's along Rogers Road there. That maybe those ones in yellow.
Good point. All the commercial lots, and people are familiar with it. If they'll think about where the post office is located, then heading north, we constructed all of those as well. There are 2, the daycare center, which is there, that has been sold. But on the very corner, that last lot, which is a 2-acre lot of the intersection of Rogers Road and Granite Falls Boulevard, closed last month. And that will be a similar building, but it is planned on each end. It'll have 4 to 5 bays or businesses, but on each end, there's food service type businesses planned for that I'm not a part of that, and it's not my place to say. I'm sure some discussions have been with the town, and I think there'll be sit-down type food business. So that'll be good for Rolesville as well.
Yeah, I agree. Good. It's been a great 20 years, and that, as you can see in that map, a lot of work taking place, a lot of 20 years, a lot of economic development. I think you told me earlier it's over 700 different housing units of very diverse in there, from very high end single families to affordable apartments.
Exactly. There's over 750 homes there, and the senior apartments are very important. You must be 60 years old to live there, and they are affordable apartments in that a certain percentage of them must be below market rate. And we all understand just how expensive rental properties have gotten now to lease. And so people, particularly as they get older, and many of them are single seniors, so to speak, now at this stage in their life, it's important for them to have a place to live. That was the last piece of the plan puzzle that we had. Frank Hodge, you remember very well, was extremely supportive of the affordable workforce apartments, Granite Falls, which these are all beautiful buildings. If you'll drive back there and look, I think everyone would be impressed, very well kept. And Frank Hodge, Mayor Eagles, yourself, Jackie Wilson, when he was on the board, the whole town wanted those type projects. And as you very well know, need some more like that just hard to get. There was a lot of work and effort from our team, the town, to make those happen, but we're blessed to have those. It's important.
Yeah, and I really, it's several, and just to kind of wrap up, it's a couple really early started projects that really shaped the town as we see it today. I think the Villages of Rolesville was one of them, or Villages at Rolesville, I think it's called, with the housing units there. They had diverse type of housing, and and a couple wings went on there with Cedar Lakes and Chandler Ridge, not Chandler Ridge, but Carlton Point. But really, between that on the south side and on the north side, I think Granite Falls planned unit development really shaped the town from 20 years ago.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I feel like we're kind of the center of town. We're in the heart of town, and I don't know that we can say midtown like they like to talk about in Raleigh, but we're right there, and we're happy to be there, and we're real excited about the potential that Rolesville has for planned growth under the leadership that you have in place, and under your leadership. And you got a great town manager in Kelly Arnold, and a great planner, Meredith Gruber, and others on the staff. I think there's a lot of moving pieces and moving parts, and a great town council that do a lot for Rolesville that the average citizen does not stop and think about or understand. But I truly know and appreciate how hard all of you work to make Rolesville the success it is, because it can be a thankless job, and I know that. But I thank you.
Well, thank you, Hal. Appreciate you coming on the show, and I don't think you'll go away in anytime soon. You got a few more things you got to do. You showed us there on the map, so we're still excited to see those, especially the restaurants. Hearing that we're going to have some sit-down restaurants.
That's the plan. Like I said, I don't own those anymore. I sold them, but that's the plan out here.
That'd be great. I think everybody is looking for that. But certainly appreciate it. Thank you for the last 20 years, Hal. Appreciate, and you're right. Jackie has been just really an ambassador for our town, and really a servant in many, many ways. And a lot of things we would not see today if it wasn't for the hard work and the behind the scene hard work that Jackie put in, that people really don't know. And between you and him. But I think we can give you and Jackie some credit, but I think most of it will go to Gail.
I'm going to give her all the credit in the world as soon as we part ways here tonight.
Yeah, but probably none of it would have happened if it weren't for her. So
I can rest assured it would not have.
Well, thank you, Hal.
She's what keeps me going.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, and thank you too, Rachel. I appreciate it, and I want to say how impressive Billy was. He is very inspirational and aspirational, and he was a pleasure just to listen to him too. So he was glad to hear of his success.
Well, Hal, before you get off, I did want to say there's one part. I know you mentioned some of the things as far as what you've done for the community and, giving back and investing in your community, but you're a huge supporter of our Little House Museum here. And I don't think I heard that to come up. So for people that don't know, I mean, Hal's, he's a big part of that too. So I definitely want to say thank you because, history is huge. And when we look at Little House, a lot of times we try to tell people we've had Terry on the show to talk about it, but you are a huge part of that too. So I just want to say thank you. And for those that don't know, he truly means it when he says he is really giving back to the community.
Well, Rachel, that means a lot. I appreciate your saying that. And I was glad to help. They have done a wonderful job there. And you're correct. It means a lot to remember Rolesville, the good, the bad, and the growth that we've had. And it's important. Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely, Hal.
And Rachel, I echo that. Hal, over the last 20 years, have done so many things that, people just don't know about. It's never been, publicized. Just helping out and giving back to the community over and over again. I'll tell you one that's coming up. We've been working on trying to get a connection between the mobile home park, or the mobile home park in Sanford Creek Elementary there, and it goes across some of Granite Falls area there. Some of the area beside of the Granite Falls Boulevard, and Hal has said, I'll help any way you can, and that's just the way Hal has been over the last 20 years. Is any kind of community service needed, he's always there to help. And
Well,
thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it, and hope we'll have many more years of helping one another.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hal.
Thank you.
Well, Mayor, that's been another show. I mean, we kicked it off and got it moving. It seems like every show gets better and better. Our guests definitely bring information and the vast level of knowledge that they bring to the public as far as things that maybe you and I may know, but things that other people don't know about them is always interesting and amazing to me.
It is
what we can share.
Yeah, it is. We have some amazing folks here in town. We could have a show every night almost and bring people in that has just amazing stories to tell, like Billy's story. I've had a chance to talk to Billy, and we've talked for a long time. Billy, we could talk about Billy's story for an hour or more, and they're just amazing people. Pre-Zimp here, we do have a good show planned for March. Sherry Bauer, a lot of people know her from the farmers market. One of her things that she promotes and do a really good job on that. So I kind of want to bring her on, and we talk about the present farmers market, future plans, what we can do to work through that. And then the second segment will have Heather Scott from Wake County Education. She serves on the school board there. We have some really good schools in town. Hal mentioned those. The high school. We have the Sanford Creek and Rolesville Elementary, Rolesville Middle School. We also have Jones Dairy. That's really a Rolesville school that Wake Forest has always claimed, but it's not. It's a Rolesville school, and
it's officially redistricted now, isn't it? So it's officially one of the Rolesville schools, isn't it?
Well, it's not annexed, but it is in our district. But
Okay.
it has a Wake Forest address.
Yes.
So but maybe we'll change that one day. But we have a really good school system. My kids went through public school, very much a great experience on that, and I know thousands of parents experiencing the same thing today. So just kind of want to bring her on. We'll talk about some things, some exciting stuff that's going on there. So looking forward to a great show next month, and I really appreciate you hosting this, Rachel. You do a great job. Thank you. Thank the chamber. Thank you for the hard work that you guys do, and
Absolutely.
And I know the chamber is growing, and it will be. It's going to be exploding when some of these new things come in. Cobblestone, Walbrook. Hal's finishing up some of his things, so it'll be more businesses there. I don't know how many businesses in the chamber from Granite Falls projects, which is along Rogers Road there, but there's quite a few. You mentioned Terry Simmons earlier. She's located there on Rogers Road in one of those Granite Falls things. So
we are. I mean, Mayor, I tell you, we're definitely as we look at growing and changing and things like that. As a chamber, of course, it's not public yet, but we've elected our new chamber board for this year. And so excited to have Terry Simmons as the new board chair as we go into the year. So first time this is publicly announced is actually here. So there will be information going out about that. So we're excited about that. And then also for those that are, watching, we will be having some things. So we will do a meet and greet with our ambassadors this month on the 24th at Greenway Beer and Wine at 6:00. So I tell everyone, come by, stop by and meet the ambassadors. If you're interested in becoming an ambassador, that's a great opportunity to meet them and actually talk to them about it. So it's some great stuff happening this year, Mayor. Workforce initiatives are on the move. I had a great meeting today with one of our foundation board members, Jawan Sweatbass, had a meeting with her today. So looking forward to some things to kick off for Rolesville. So for those that are listening and paying attention, I'm going to post a question on our page to kind of ask, like, what is it that you're going to be looking for, especially as we look to building our workforce here and providing some training. So just kind of stay tuned. I'll tell you, put a date on your calendars. March 15th, we are looking to hold a resume writing and interviewing skills workshop. This is going to be limited to the number of people that are able to join us, only because we're looking to have you leave something with a product, or leave that workshop with a product, and be able to make it a little more hands-on. So we have to cap it so that you can actually get an experience and not be in a class with like 20 people. So we're going to limit it. So when we post it, it's no cost whatsoever. We've had some meetings with some great possible presenters. And so one of them, I will tell you, is very dynamic when I talk to that possible presenter. And it's amazing what they're able to provide. So we're definitely excited about what could potentially come from that. So just want to say, Mayor, always thank you for this.
That sounds exciting, Rachel. And, I guess if somebody asks the question, what's happening in Rolesville? A lot of stuff.
A lot, Mayor. There's a lot happening.
But yeah, appreciate you hosting this tonight. I always enjoy it. I look forward to the second Thursday night of the month. This is a lot more fun than the town board meeting.
Look, and I see Derek in the comments. Derek, I'm going to pop this up because I so owe you a phone call, and I know you emailed me, but I love that you go back and actually watch the rerun, as he says, of the shows. That's always great for people. If you are not able to catch it here, you can definitely watch it, of course, on Facebook, or you can go back to the Chamber's YouTube page and watch it there too. So it's always an option for that. So thank you so much, Derek. Yeah. And I will be calling you. I'll reach out to you this week. I know that ends tomorrow, but I'll make sure I touch bases with you so we can schedule something. So Mayor, thank you so much. I'm going to play our exit closing, as we close it out. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always.